سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق.
This is Houston. Say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
وأوحى ربك إلى النحل أن اتخذي من الجبال بيوتا ومن الشجر ومما يعرشون ثم كلي من كل الثمرات فاسلكي سبل ربك ذللا يخرج من بطونها شراب مختلف ألوانه فيه شفاء للناس إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يتفكرون.
In narrating the doings of the honeybee, the Qur'an uses the feminine gender. In Arabic, verbs are conjugated according to gender. The use in the Qur'an of the feminine gender in conjugation shows that the acts pointed out by the Qur'an were performed by the female bee. This was only known recently. However, 1,400 years ago the Qur'an refers to bees that generate the honey as females. How could an illiterate man who lived 1,400 years ago have known that those honey-making bees are females? The working of the female honeybee is described in the Qur'an as follows. 1. Building of hive. 2. Collecting of nectar, new material for honey production. 3. Making honey. All the over 3 functions are performed by female bees. At the time of the descent of the Qur'an, men did not know the details of the distribution of work among the bees living in a hive. They did not know that those actively working in the hive were females. They did not know that the function of producing honey and collecting nectar from fruits belonged to female bees. Therefore, it is interesting, indeed, that in listing the duties of bees, the Qur'an used the mode of conjugation in the Arabic intended for the female gender. The functions performed by the female honeybee leave us in wonder. Besides making honey, the female honeybee does an important mathematical job to keep the honey safe, and that is building hexagonal-shaped cells. Have we ever wondered why does female honeybee builds hexagonal cells?
It's actually a mathematical question. The problem is, how do I divide up a volume into shapes of equal size using the minimum amount of stuff? Now, why does that matter to a bee? Because that stuff is wax, and wax is extremely valuable to the bees. So what shape should it be? Should it be squares, or should it be triangles? You can see it can't be circles, because circles, when you pack them together, leave gaps, so they're not very efficient. Or could it be that hexagons are the most efficient? Well, that is actually a simple sounding question with a very complicated answer. It's one of the oldest questions in mathematics. It's got a name, actually. It's called the honeycomb conjecture. Mathematicians have worked on it for thousands and thousands of years, and it's only recently that the honeycomb conjecture was proved. Here's one of the proofs. A huge paper, pages and pages of complex mathematics. And it turns out that hexagon is the most efficient shape. The bees knew what human mathematicians didn't know for thousands of years. Actually, I'm using know in quite a loose sense there. There's still a great deal of debate amongst biologists as to how the bees actually do it. Do they build hexagons from scratch using some kind of instinctive behaviour? Or do they in fact build a simpler shape, perhaps circles, and then because the wax heats up it can deform and the laws of physics themselves change the circles into hexagons? That's still not agreed upon. But what is agreed upon by the mathematicians and the bees is the hexagon is the most efficient shape. That just shows you it's a beautiful thing. Mathematics is the universal language. And when you look at a perfect honeycomb, you see a shadow of that language of mathematics made real by bees.
How do these bees, whose lifetime is only 6 weeks, achieve all these calculations and construction work? To call this ingenuity mere instinct does not explain anything. The Qur'an states that the bee received revelations according to which God's design and programming were put into execution. Within the span of the honeybee's lifetime, the cleverest of men could not learn even to count, let alone be the author of such a perfect design. We cannot account for the erudition of bees, certainly not as pure luck. The Creator who created the bee made her with all her potentialities, having solved for her all these mathematical problems. At the beginning of the verse, reference is made to the collection of nectar. The female bees not only produce honey, but also assume the duty of collecting the raw material from flowers to be eventually transformed into honey. During this process of seeking the nectar, incredible phenomena occur. The bee that has located the spot where there is nectar to be collected returns to the hive to inform her sisters about the location of flowers. The scout bees are, returning to the hive, perform circular dances or tail-wagging movements. These dances indicate not only that the scouts have found nectar or pollen and that the other workers should go out and seek it, but they are actually performing an amazing charade that conveys precise information to the sisters about the direction and the distance of the location of a newfound source. Sometimes a normal adult must attend a dance course for 6 weeks, while a bee, whose lifetime is but 6 weeks, is able to perform a dance for communication purposes. The bee's calculation on her way back to the hive is also of great interest. The bee makes her calculation according to the position of the sun. The sun changes its location 1 degree per 4 minutes. The bee that has spotted the location of her food also calculates her return journey as directly and correctly as possible in relation to the sun. She performs this without any error. All HESA calculations and harmonious coexistence within the hive cannot possibly be explained by pure coincidence.